Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the TGIF version of today in sports betting. As always, I am joined by my co-host with the most. He is the one and only Scott Reichel. Scott, it's the triple header today. You ready, buddy?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I know that we got the NBA, we got some baseball action. I know that, hypothetically speaking, we might not have had a baseball show today if everybody swept. But, of course, that didn't happen. And the Cubs also had a rain out yesterday, so we ended up getting a game no matter what. And then on top of that, we also got some college football to discuss. So a lot of stuff going through, and I'm looking forward to it.
Should be fun. And, of course, biggest day of the week, arguably, my computer decides to shoot craps on me, so I'm kind of putting everything together here with a makeshift situation with my wife's computer. I don't have my actual camera, my mic, or anything. So,
well, I mean, every now and then, the longer you play craps, the more likely the computer is to roll a 7. So
that's right. You're gonna 7 out eventually, man. And I don't know. Maybe it's time to get a new computer. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this NBA, Scott. And you've got the numbers there in front of you. What are the Is it still 9.5 for the Lakers?
I see 9.5 and an over/under of 216.5.
All right. And have you seen in any of your research? Because I've been obviously in computer hell. Have you seen anything that indicates that Adebayo is going to give it a shot, or is he almost certainly not going to play with that neck?
Well, it's being listed as doubtful, which you could read into that as well as you want. I personally believe he will not play because I think if you're doubtful for an NBA Finals game, that means you're kind of seriously injured because there's not really many more important games to go through in the course of the regular season. It doesn't seem that great. He's got a strained neck. That's a bit of an issue. Dragic, they were talking about potentially returning at some point in the series. I don't think there's any way he's playing in game two.
He has a torn plantar fasciitis.
That's what I'm saying. There are some rumors he might return later in the series. Congratulations. Later might mean 5 minutes in game 4. That doesn't exactly mean anything for game 2.
I got a bad piece of news about game 5, boys.
Yeah, I'm assuming that both of them are going to be out. That'd be my assumption. I'm assuming you feel the same way.
Yeah, I am. I'm just kind of wanting to advise people what to do with this number if he were to return. What do you think this number goes down to if he decides to give it a go? 7.5?
Are we talking about Adebayo or are we talking about Dragic?
Adebayo. Dragic is I think out of the equation for sure.
Yeah. If Adebayo ends up playing, I think it'll probably drop from 9.5 to maybe I'd say 8.5 or 8. But then again, you have to wonder how many minutes Adebayo is even going to be able to play.
Right.
It's not even just that he's going to be able to try to suit up. It's, you're suiting up and you have to guard a top 3 player in the world and have fun.
Right.
Like yeah, that doesn't
with
change.
With Adebayo before they were
they still couldn't stop Anthony Davis anyway. So it's not like
they were down 30. They were down 30 before Adebayo got hurt. So it's not like it's like but do you agree that this looks very grim? They have no one that can even remotely slow down Anthony Davis.
So I have a play that I video on the side.
Okay.
So I feel like you kind of know where I'm going with that. But
I have a premium pick on the side as well. I just and it's and some of the ones you talk about
I do expect this line to drop. I do think that you are more likely to see 9 than 10. I know it was roughly 10 last night. Maybe after it's confirmed that one of these two, if not both of these two, are not going to play, you might see a little bit of Lakers money, but I don't know how either of them are going to play. And I do believe that there is a chance this can go to 9 just because people might say to themselves, it's an NBA Finals game. I think this game will be closer. I think that the Heat are undervalued. And I think that you might be right if they were healthy, but they're not, and they're missing their best defender, their starting point guard, and I'd say their best player and their third best player, and they were still losing game 1 by 20 to 30 for the majority of the game. And now, by the way, you couldn't stop LeBron, Anthony Davis, and you got out rebounded by 18, and now your best rebounder is not playing. You have fun with Kelly Olynyk. It's like I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Well, and sometimes you hear the story. The team will rally together, and the plucky go-getters will be able to step up.
I think it's possible, but based on the current number, like I saw what happened in game 1, and the 2 players we mentioned actually played about 15 to 20 minutes. So I don't know if it matters. It really depends on if the Lakers are going to take their foot off the gas in the second half, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't know.
What does
I don't.
Miami do? Do they go small? They're
I
gonna get
think
out
that's
rebounded by 30.
I think that's going to be your only option. But that's the problem is unless they're shooting, 55% from downtown, they're just going to get nominated inside. Because how what are the Lakers or what? How do they just not pound the ball inside to Davis?
All I know is that the Lakers ended up, what was it? They had basically double the amount of free throws Miami had in game one, and they also had about 18 more rebounds. With Adebayo out, I know Adebayo didn't have a great game, but you saw what he can do against Boston in game 6, etc. He's by far their best rebounder, and it's not even close. Like, he can take over a game from a rebounding perspective.
Right.
He did in that fourth quarter against Boston. So even if he wasn't good in game one, he still has a switch that he could have potentially maybe flipped, where he would have helped deal with the board disadvantage. I don't know what you're supposed to do now.
Well, let's talk about the total a little bit. What's the number listed at, Scott?
It's at 216.5.
All right. So, and that game actually went under the other night as the Heat were able to contribute very little. And
Well, they contributed a lot to the under, but it's the same thing.
yeah. But yeah, and the Lakers definitely took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. If I remember right, I think they lost by 12 in the fourth quarter.
They've done it before. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You've seen it throughout the playoffs, and it's kind of like what the Clippers do, except when the Lakers are starting to blow the lead, they actually bring the starters back in and say, we're going to win this game anyway, so here you go.
Right.
But they do the same thing. They take the foot off the gas all the time. But then again, when you're up 30 in a finals game, you kind of have the right to take your foot off the gas. So
are you with me here and thinking if you take two scoring threats out of the equation for the Heat, no way this game goes over?
I don't know if I agree fully, because I do think that Miami's defense is going to struggle a lot. I think that the Lakers could potentially put up 120. They put up 116 in game one, and now Miami's best defender is not playing. There's a chance you can go small, throw Iggy in there. It's going to get really ugly from a foul trouble perspective and from a rebound perspective. I expect the Lakers to have a ton of second chance points. I think that Miami isn't automatic. I think this game's not automatically going under because Miami can shoot the three really well. They have not over the last couple of games, but they can. And if they end up hitting 40-something%, then you're going to sit around and say, well, Miami end up scoring 105 and I'm screwed. So I'm not going to say it's officially going to go under. I think that there's a decent chance because but then again, Adebayo is also the best defender. So defensively, they should look a lot worse tonight. And they didn't look very good in game one. You agree with that?
I get the theory there. Maybe we should just take Miami out of the equation and
I would look for Lakers team total over 113.5 or so.
Yeah, do you have it listed there?
Yeah, it was 113.5 at Fox Bet. I know the one issue that you have with that is that the Lakers shot so well from three in the first half. They hit 11 threes. They also missed almost every three in the second half.
Right.
So they still went over by 3, and LeBron Anthony Davis didn't play the last, 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
Right.
So you can make the argument saying that if the Lakers actually have everybody in for a full 48, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but if they do, I think the Lakers should get to 114. I just think Miami's defense, unless Spoelstra comes up with the greatest game plan of all time, I don't know how you're really supposed to stop the Lakers when you have no big men to speak of.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my play on the total. I'm going to take the Heat out of the equation and play the Lakers team total over 113.5, and I do like that play.
Yeah, it's a matter of Olynyk. Can he rim protect? Maybe a little, but he can't guard Anthony Davis. I mean, even if you'd run pick and rolls, I don't know if he can guard anybody on the perimeter. I highly doubt it. You're going to throw in Myers Leonard out there. There are only two centers in the entire roster.
Right. I understand.
You don't have any choice. They're kind of screwed. I hope I'm wrong. I guess over the long term, because I find the Heat entertaining and I kind of wanted a good NBA final series. Now we're looking at a potential sweep, but it just happens that way. And plus, Jimmy Butler also has he twisted his ankle. I think he played through it. He played fine, but at the end of the day, you have to wonder defensively if that's going to be an issue, especially as his ankle gets more and more sore. And he has to guard LeBron almost every possession. It's not going to help.
Yeah, I mean, even if he's 95%, I think that makes a difference.
I think it does too. So I think that all those factors – Dragic is not a good defender, but Butler and Adebayo are two of their best defenders. You can make that argument with Butler, but I think he's probably a top 2-3 defender on the roster,
Sure.
in my opinion. So they couldn't stop the Lakers in the first place. Now they have to try to guard them with a limited third or second best defender without their best defender. That's a problem.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm looking towards the Lakers team total over. There is a chance the Lakers just have a no-show, or they might just be overconfident, but I don't see that happening. I just think the Lakers are so talented; they're just going to say, "All right, let's just get this over with."
Yeah, I agree. I think they want to get out of here. LeBron really, he looks hungry, man. He looks motivated. He looks angry, and he looks like he is not taking this one for granted at all.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should automatically assume that the Lakers might, I don't know, take their foot off the gas or whatever. I'm assuming you still agree that even though they are fighting for a championship, I'm sure these players would be thrilled to leave the bubble and go back to their families as soon as possible. I know that they have some family in the bubble, but I'm sure that if they had the choice of leaving the bubble after 4 games and going back to their houses or staying till game 5, I'm sure they'd all rather leave in game 4.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think that I don't know if that plays a factor for motivation, but at the end of the day, the sooner the Lakers win the series, and I think they will win the series, as soon as the Lakers win the series, they're going home. So I think that there is some type of motivation to not take their foot off the gas too heavily.
And I think they want to make hay while the sun shines. I think they want to pick up these victories while Miami is wounded.
Correct, especially if Adebayo, Andesh, or Dragic come back later in the series.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. This is a golden opportunity to take a 2-0 lead. So I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, very good. All right, man. I think that's all we got to say about that. Any final thoughts on the NBA, Scott?
It's a shame that the Heat had to get injured. They did end up cashing my 10-1 ticket to 33-1 shots, pretty much dead to rights. But it was fun while it lasted. I'll tell you that much. I had a good time watching this team, and it's a shame that injuries just got in the way. You've seen it before. Cavaliers with Kyrie, Kevin Love, all that stuff. You've seen it happen to multiple playoff teams.
Well, we saw it with the Warriors.
Durant
fall apart.
Yeah, Durant last year, stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've seen it before. You hate to see it. But it's a part of the sport. So it is.
Agreed. Yeah, I would have loved to seen both of these teams go at each other at full strength, but that's not going to be the case at least tonight. So, All right, there we go, everybody. That's your NBA show for tonight, and stay tuned. This is just our first of 3. We'll be back on the flip side, taking a look at the MLB games for today. And if you want a little deeper dive into this game and what some of the other experts are thinking, make sure you check out winnersandwonders.com for all your sports handicapping information. It is the #1 site in the world for predictive sports analysis. winnersandwonders.com. Know it, live it, love it. All right. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwonders.com, appreciate you watching. Of course, drop us a comment. Let us know what you're playing today. We'll see how everything goes. And, check out our MLB show. Just click that next video, man. Doesn't hurt a bit. All right, you guys have a great day. Take care. Hope every ticket in your pocket cashes at the window. We'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye, everybody.